Good evening, everybody. Tonight we're going to go over the components and functions of the simulation pod I've built that I've christened Night Sky. It has a number of functions, a lot to cover. So we're going to start on the outside and work our way in. In front of me here, I've got the pod. As you can see here, it's got two stages. The second stage here, I call this the shroud. And the first stage is the main pod. It closes in two stages with linear actuators. I'll just demonstrate that in just a second. On the front here, we have a PC and the caddy that it rolls on. The PC is in an ASA overdrive case. It's supposed to look like a small block V6. I got it because when it's all lit up, it kind of looks like a sci-fi alien power supply or engine of some sort, which was perfect for what I wanted with this case, or the pod rather. I have some plans to make it look even more sci-fi next year with some lights and circuitry and whatnot. It sits on top of a toolbox that was originally intended for a bed of a truck, I think. It's on a plywood platform with some casters. Now this caddy, I call it the PC caddy, it serves a number of purposes. Apart from just being the ride of the PC, it also holds inside here the UPS that powers the PC, main monitor, a couple USB peripherals, and the second and first stage actuators in the case of a power outage. That way, if the power goes out, I have a little bit of juice to get the PC shut down gracefully and get the pod open, and I'm not stuck inside the pod. It also has some surge protectors, some DC power supplies for the lights, fans, and actuators, and it's got a linear actuator inside of it. You can't see the actuator yet because it's retracted. But that black bar there, that's a coupling that connects the actuator to the pedals inside the pod. It allows the racing pedals to come in or out 10 inches to adjust to different leg lengths of different people who might be using it. So that's the PC and the caddy. The other thing we have outside over here, this isn't particularly exciting, but since we're covering everything, this is a closet space that the original owners built in to the house before I bought it. It was full of these really ugly Pepto-Bismol pink drawers that didn't fit in their tracks. So I ripped them out. I put in these black drawers. These have cables, adapters, spare keyboards, all sorts of computer knickknacks and paraphernalia. And up top here, we've got a USB charging station, a smaller UPS to run the network switch that controls all the LAN connectivity to the devices up here. And we've got some knuckle controllers for VR, some USB cables, the hat that I use with my hour head tracker when I'm not using the headset. And these all close up nice and neat. Come up and just look like part of the wall when they're closed. So we come around the side here. This is the side we enter the pod on. As you can see here, it's made it up flush with the back wall. I can't get in there to open it. That's where this little Wi-Fi dongle comes into play. But as you can see, it's not working. That's actually by design. This panel here and its sister panel on the other side are hinged. You can see the hinge right there for this one. These open up to reveal a rear cabling compartment. The idea behind this compartment, see, I knew that there was going to be so many cables and so many wires. There was no way I could keep it clean and nice inside the cockpit unless I had some place to stash all the excess. Near as I can tell, there's somewhere between 800 and 900 feet of cable in this thing. And I had to have some place to put it where I knew that it could be managed as best as possible, but even if it wasn't great, it wouldn't matter because it was out of sight and out of mind. And that's where this compartment here comes into play. Now over here, we've got a light. Let me get that kicked on. There we go. So as you can see, a whole bunch of cables, a whole bunch of wires. I got them bundled up as best as I could, but they're still not great. And I definitely didn't want all this stuff in the cockpit. I wanted it to be as clean as possible. So we got some ventilation fans up top that pulls hot air out of the cockpit. We've got a laptop that's used for streaming. The webcams, mics connect to that. I'm going to use a capture card to send it game footage from the PC. The back end of the butt kicker. We've got a couple hubs that connect stuff to the PC or the laptop. And then this switch, everything in it can go to the PC or the laptop. I just hit a button in the cockpit and it switches from one to the other. And then most importantly for our purposes right now, we've got this key switch here and these buttons here. The top button already flipped, that's for the lights. This bottom button here turns the power on to the actuators. And then this key, that turns on the Wi-Fi connectivity. Now, that might seem like, you know, an unnecessary thing, but it's actually by design. The idea is when I have responsible stuff to do that I don't want to do, like dishes or paying bills or, I don't know, pretty much anything, I'm not going to do it if I can get in this thing and play games instead. I know myself. I'm only one man. I'm only so strong. You know, if I have to pick between doing this and just about anything else, I'm going to do this. So I set it up to where I can close it like it is right now, lock out the Wi-Fi capability, give the key to my wife, and then I have to do the adult stuff. She won't give it back until I've been a good boy. And it's a way to ensure that I get like responsible stuff down. Like, you know, I pay my bills, so my power stays on. I eat, I bathe, you know, and it's probably a good thing for marital harmony as well. But now we've got it turned on. We've got the key fob here. And let me get a good angle here where we can see it coming around. It should open up now. Here comes the first stage. You see it opening there. Now it moves a little bit slow. I've got plans to upgrade this actuator so I can get the move a little bit faster with a little more purpose. But that's, you know, $150, $200 down the line. We'll get there. It comes back a ways. I don't guess we have to open it all the way because we also have this second stage that opens up. You see that shroud coming back. Now it's opened up. Come around the side here. First thing we see, we got rear speakers for the 5.1 surround sound. Check. Here's a racing seat where I sit in, obviously. This is where, you know, this is like the command chair, the captain's chair. It's got a ventilation pad with a blower fan that blows cool air up from the floor. The backs of my legs and lower back helps keep my body temperature down when it gets warm in here. You can't see it, but there's a butt kicker wired to it underneath, you know, for that good bass shaker vibration. And there's a linear actuator that move it back and forth to help adjust, you know, ergonomics for me or for other users. It also tilts back a little bit, which comes in handy when I'm working a lot on the laptop. The laptop monitors are up high, so I can kick the seat back where I'm not canking my neck back and straining my neck. So that's kind of helpful. These are the linear rails that the whole thing moves on. And we get in here. I'll kick this back to get a more bird's eye view in a second. But the first thing we need to talk about is this 2 rows of knobs here. And these are thermal take fan controllers. They're intended for a 5¼ inch bay in a PC. I have them here repurposed. Well, actually, one of them does control fans. The top row controls lights inside the pod. The bottom row controls the fans. And then I've also got a bank of USBs, 4 for the laptop, 4 for the PC, with a Blu-ray reader writer on top, just in case. Now the idea is right now I have them all turned off for demonstration purposes, but the idea is when I'm using this regularly, I can have the lights and fans set with these knobs like presets where I want them, and they all turn on and off with this master switch. And while we're looking at it, we also have this. This is a car horn. That's for scattering cats that may be on the rails when I want to open the pod. So we've got these knobs. The first one here controls the backlighting for the control panel here. And there's another panel over here that we'll talk about in a minute. The second knob controls the lights in the beer fridge, which is right here, down here low. Got it stocked with beer, ready to go. Third knob is the overhead light. It's just the light bar up top here. Then we've got a light for behind the monitor to light up the butt kicker and some other components when I need to see them. We got a light for pedals and a light over here for just the bottom underneath so I can see what's down here if I need it. And you can't see the fans, all of them anyway, but we've got two upper fans that I showed you in the back compartment that pull hot air out. We've got two lower fans down here behind the pedals that pull cool air in. There's a blower fan on the chair that pulls cool air. And then the last fan you can't see is in the caddy. This is what pulls cool air in to help cool off the wiring inside the caddy. I'm going to turn them off so we don't hear them whining while we're working here. But all told, they actually work pretty well to keep things cool down. In the summertime, I have to use an air conditioner, a standalone air conditioner, to keep the ambient temperature down in the room. But all in all, it works pretty well. So over here on the left side, while we're here, it's a Tartarus, Razer Tartarus game controller. It's like a keyboard, but smaller. We got a Logitech X56 throttle. Got a drink chiller / warmer for beers or hot chocolate or coffee, whatever I'm going to use. This tablet, I want to use this for ATA64 control panels, and also maybe like game glass, that sort of thing. But the thing I'm using it for primarily right now is linked to a Blink camera pointed at the back of the pod. So when I open it up, I can check for my cats, because cats will lay in the place that they're absolutely most certain to die. If I see the cat in front of the pod or in front of the caddy, I can blow that horn, because they hate that thing. God, they hate that thing so much. But it's just a way to make sure I'm not running over a cat tail or breaking a paw or anything like that. So what else have we got? Let's see. We have a ejection handle. This pulls a myelinated cable that connects to a pin down here. So if there would be a mechanical failure with the actuator, or some sort of failure with that UPS I mentioned, I can yank this here. It pulls a pin there. That uncouples the primary actuator from the pod, and I can push it open manually enough to get out. Let's see, what else have we got? The other thing we got here, this is neat. Turn this key switch on, and that powers up the PC. When we go outside now, the PC will be running. Once the PC kicks up, you need to go over here. This panel has rocker switches for all the actuators. We'll talk about those in a second. All of these switches are AC switches for the 49-inch monitor, the two 24-inch laptop monitors, USB banks, butt kicker. I'm not going to turn the VR on because the sensors whine, but this kicks on the sensors and VR headset, and then that sets up the power we need for the lights burn out, but it works. It kicks on the power for the speaker system. The rest of these are USB switches that kick on all the different peripherals. We don't need them all, but we'll just kick them all on. Why not? This top row, they're not all assigned to stuff. That's the front webcam. I wonder why that's not turning on. It's interesting. Let's check that out. And the mic. Looks like the front webcam is not plugged in. That's why it's not turned on. I've got to unplug from the hub right now. That's a whole different story. So as you can see now, we've got the monitor, the bottom monitors for the gaming PC. These top two monitors are for the laptop. The other thing we have on this console down here is the thumbprint reader, because I hate typing a 20-digit passphrase to get in the computer. And let's see, what else have we got? Let's do, we get the Razer kicked on here, so all my stuff turns green. We want that. There we go. So, yeah, where were we? So we got the Tartarus, we got the throttle, we got the power switch, we got the horn, got the tower power, we got a Razer 60% keyboard. That's the butt kicker console for kicking on the butt kicker and controlling all the different intensities and whatnot with that. What else do we have? We talked about the the plunger. We've got a Thrustmaster racing wheel. We've got a Logitech Z906 surround sound speaker system, an Arctis Steel web headset controller, Elgato Stream Deck that goes back to the laptop, which, as you can tell, I've not configured yet, but that's on the list. We've got the ventilation fans down there, and we've got Thrustmaster racing pedals. Over here, we've got a Thrustmaster gear shifter. We've got a vertical gaming mouse. Now, some people poo-poo at this because it's not some fancy high DPI mouse, what have you. I love it because I've got a huge thumb, and I can never use the little buttons, the little teeny buttons on gaming mice. But with this thing, I've got 2 big buttons here, and I've got this little thumb pad configured to act as buttons. So I've got 5 buttons here that I can actually use with my thumb. Love this thing. The X56 flight stick. This is the remote control for the USB switch. So if I wanted to log into the laptop, I hit that number 2, and it flips the mouse, 60% keyboard, and HOTAS over to the laptop, which I'm not going to boot up or log into right now because we don't need it. I have some stuff, game controllers rather, going to the laptop because sometimes I use it to run alternate accounts while I'm doing something on the primary on the PC, especially with, like, say, Fallout 76 or Elite Dangerous. Let's see, up the sides here, we've got, that's the headset, the Arctis headset. This little thing here is a remote control that turns the room lights off from inside the pod. See, no more. A VR sensor, an Astro C40 gamepad. Here we've got the microphone. It's kind of hard to see. Here we go. Blue Yeti microphone. The center speaker for the surround sound. The right and left are behind the monitors here. We've got an hour head tracker. We've got the front webcam. Here on the shroud, we've got the second. This is an overhead webcam that I can kick up when the shroud's closed to do a near point of view webcam shot. We got a Razer Xbox controller. I like the Astro better, but his thumbsticks keep breaking and are expensive to change, so I have this as a backup. And the VR headset, subwoofer for the sound system. And these boxes I use if I'm doing a lot of PC gaming with mouse and keyboard. I get these underneath the mouse and the TARDIS over here. It changes the ergonomics and keeps me from kinking my wrist up as much. So it's a comfort thing. And that's the bulk of the features in terms of the different components. Let's see what else. I already talked about the seat moving in and out. The pedals move in and out. So they'll come forward 10 inches or back. The seat moves up, I think, 4 or 5 inches. I've got a 100% keyboard here. If I want to do a lot of typing, it comes out. Swivels around. When the pod's shut, my legs are under it and it holds it, and I can type really well on this. If I'm doing more than just like in-game chats and some quick types or keybinds for games on the 60%, I prefer to have this. It's so much easier to type on. And then the last moving piece is the microphone up here. I don't like having that mic in my face if I'm not using it, so I set it up to retract as well. But it comes out. When needed. So I have the mic there. Back she goes. And then last but not least, we have 2 rocker switches for opening and closing the pod inside. So I'll close this thing up. See it coming at me here. Closing up. Gotta get my feet up here. Getting snug. That's the first stage, and now we close the second stage. And now I'm snug as a bug in a rug. Closed up over here. This thing is almost light proof, even if I kick the lights off here and kick the room lights on here. You get a little bit of bleed through, but very, very little. I'm almost completely sealed off. No light. I got enough sound dampening. It's not soundproof, but it's sound resistant. And that's, I think that's pretty much it. That's all the features, all the bells and whistles. Nice thing about the rocker switches, whereas the Wi-Fi thing only runs one actuator at once, I can run both with the rocker switches. This comes in really handy if I need a bathroom break. I can get out much faster. So there you have it. That's all the components, features, bells and whistles of Night Sky. Get out here just a little bit. Get back out here. Let's see. There's one thing I wanted to start that I forgot. I want to make sure my lights are nice and pretty. Come on. Give me the thing. I've got one fan on the PC that doesn't want to run the same color as everything else. I have to go in and manually set it, make it work. And it's a problem with the motherboard. When I update all the hardware inside the PC, that'll get fixed. But as you can see, it's running green just like everything else. This front fan is the problem child. It doesn't want to turn green like everything else when it boots up. If I go back over here and kick off the room lights, see, it already looks kind of sci-fi all on its own. I'm really happy. This case is a pain to work in. It's definitely a matter of art being pain, but it's totally worth it. I love this thing. It'll be even better when I get the water cooling in it. So there you have it. That is Throne of Games version 3.0, or as I've rechristened it, Night Sky. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Drop a comment under the video, and we'll talk about it. And of course, if you like what you see here, please feel free to subscribe. I've got more in-game videos inside the pod videos. I've got some live streams coming up. Lots of good stuff coming. So please check back for more if you like what you've seen tonight. Thanks.